Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Shanae Show. Also, apologies in advance because I am recording this later in the day when it's not so great lighting. Because I did a monthly Thursday video for July for Anime Expo specifically, I figured why not do a book tag Tuesday as well, kind of more anime related, and the most logical assumption was manga. And because I wasn't finding anything that was to my liking for a manga tag, I decided to just come up with my own, so the prompts are down below in the description if you want to join along. But with all that said, let's get into this tag. Okay, the first prompt is your first manga, and for me, I'm pretty sure mine was Magic Knight Rayearth, but I'm only like 90% sure, I'm not quite 100% sure, just because a lot of the manga that I was reading at the time when I first got into manga, I was reading a lot at the same time I was getting into a lot of different manga at the same time, so I'm not quite sure what my first one was, but I'm 90% sure it was Magic Knight Rayearth. The second prompt is your most recent manga, and for that, I'm gonna just do, I was about to say Yashahime, but it's the Apothecary Diaries. I read volume 1, I think at the end of April, and right now I only have volumes 1 and 2, and I am liking it so far. Yeah, it's a really good story. The third prompt is Omnibus edition volumes or individual volumes, and I kind of do like the individual volumes just because it's like the smallness of them, and it's like it kind of makes them different from like novels or paperback and hardback novels and other types of books that you can get. But I do also like omnibus editions, especially if they're done right and they're kind of in theme with what is going on in that specific set of individual volumes within the omnibus. So it really depends, but my gut instinct is to say the individual volumes. The next prompt is an anime adaptation you liked. When I first got into anime, it wasn't a situation of, oh, I have to read the manga first. Most of the anime I've watched, I watched before the manga. Most of the anime that I can think of off the top of my head that I've liked, Inuyasha I really liked, Cowboy Bebop, Magic Knight Rayearth I liked. I think Magic Knight Rayearth I was watching around the same time that I was reading it for the first time for each. So Magic Knight Rayearth is another gut instinct answer. The next prompt is an anime adaptation you didn't like, either parts of it or as a whole. The first thing that comes to mind is Black Butler. I hate saying this because I loved Black Butler. I still love it for what it was and the time I had with it, but I think my main sticking point was the way the fandom treated Lizzie and the way the anime to some extent also treated Lizzie because of her backstory. But again, that's a very gut reaction answer for me, and if I'm gonna go for something that's not a gut reaction thought, I would probably say the Fruits Basket adaptation, the old one. The ending was not the best. I love that anime, I'm never not gonna love it, but the ending was not the best, and my main thing was, at the very least, they could have gone so far as to include a couple of the other members of the Zodiac. The last two specifically members of the Zodiac, the Horse and the Rooster, but it is what it is. And I have yet to watch the newer adaptation, but I'll get to it soon because it's going to be part of the Getting Back into Anime series. The next prompt is an anime you preferred over the manga. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of the animes that I had watched before I read their respective mangas, but I will say that, I think a large part of it is just for the fact of getting into the storyline, not so much the story itself, but getting into the story. I read the first 2 volumes of Trinity Blood, the manga, and it was just a little bit harder to get into. I really liked it. I love the anime, which is why I wanted to read the manga. I just had a little bit of a hard time getting into the manga, but that might have just been reading it as an ebook, and I feel like reading manga is very much an experience of reading the physical thing, and it may have just been, for me at least, reading the first 2 volumes of Trinity Blood may have just been reading them as an ebook made it harder for me to get into them, but we'll see if I get around to actually getting physical copies of Trinity Blood, which I do want to do at some point, but I don't know when that will happen. The next prompt is a manga you wish had an anime or a revamp. For me, there's a couple that's come to mind. As for revamp, I would like to see Magic Knight Rayearth get a revamp, maybe with the same English cast, because I watch the English dubs of anime, but I would love to see a revamp of Magic Knight Rayearth. As for a manga I wish had an anime, my answer would be Wish, and I'm pretty sure there were only 4 volumes of the manga, but I would have loved to see like a little short anime about it, but I doubt I'll get that. The next prompt is an anime watched without reading the manga first, and maybe even hope to read someday the manga. As I mentioned earlier, most of the anime that I've watched, I have not read the manga for. I started reading the Inuyasha mangas, or at the very least, I did not read the manga before watching the anime. I think the first one that comes to mind is finishing up the Trinity Blood manga, as I was talking about earlier. Maybe even School Rumble. The next prompt is a manga with an anime adaptation you haven't watched. For me, it's the same answer as I gave a little bit earlier, The Apothecary Diaries. I read volume 1 as of right now when I'm recording this. I haven't read volume 2 yet, and I haven't watched the anime because this was one where I did kind of want to watch the anime after I read at least some of the manga. The next prompt is, did you get into anime first or into manga first? I think I was talking about this earlier. It was around the same time that I got into anime and manga, but I think I got into anime first, and I was watching anime more consistently at first than I was reading manga. The next prompt is any manga you wish you could change the ending to. This is not a manga that I have finished yet. I have gotten some spoilers for the ending, and that's School Rumble. And honestly, like, if once I get around to finishing this manga, if it is a situation where it is like I've been spoiled for like the ending, then I would 100% change that. The next prompt is a manga that should have ended way earlier than it did, or should end despite it continuing. This is another gut response, and that is Black Butler, and this is the one I'm sticking to, just because this is one story that has been going on forever and ever and ever. And I was into Black Butler 2012, 2013-ish to about 2017, 18, 19-ish. The fact that it's been going on for 10, 15 plus years, like, it gets to a point where it's like, from what I can tell, the mangaka has started adding more fan theories and fan headcanons that in long run and the overall storyline don't make sense for Black Butler. It just feels like it's getting added just for the sake of continuing the story. This is something I've talked about with people not in a while. Black Butler is something that I would love to see spin-off series for, which is the next prompt, but to stay with this one, Black Butler has been going on too long. That's something I would love to see spin-off series for, getting a series about the Reapers, getting a series about the Angels, the Midfords, Lizzie's family, or even a sequel series where we see Ciel as an adult, you know, like a Next Generation series. But like, Black Butler's been going on too long and it needs to end. The next prompt, as I mentioned, is a manga you wish had a spin-off series or a sequel series. I mentioned Black Butler already, but another one would be Magic Knight Rayearth. I would like it to have a revamp, but it would also be kind of nice to have like a sequel series of sorts or a spin-off series, like getting more about the Magic Knights, Rune Gods, or getting other Magic Knights that have been summoned to Zephyr in the past. There are some bonus prompts, but the final prompt is your comfort manga. That for me would be Fruits Basket. I love Fruits Basket. I love the storyline. It was one of my earlier mangas. I didn't get into it immediately, but it was one of my earlier mangas, and it has so many characters that I absolutely love. As for the bonus prompts, the first bonus prompt, the second to last prompt, is your top 3 manga off the top of your head, ranked or in any order. I'm not ranking mine. Fruits Basket, Magic Knight Rayearth, what else can I think of? Yashahime is coming to mind first. So those 3 are my top 3 off the top of my head in this moment. And then the second bonus prompt, the very last prompt, is any graphic novels by Asian authors you'd like to shout out. For me, that is The Remarried Empress, and I think it's kind of fitting that I'm bringing up this one. It's originally a webtoon turned into a physical graphic novel, and the reason why I'm saying it's fitting that I'm doing this in this tag in July is because I actually got this in 2023 at Anime Expo at the J-Novel booth, and I have 6 of the volumes. I'm not sure if there are more than 6 volumes, physical volumes out, but I absolutely love the Remarried Empress story so far. So that is it for this video. Also, apologies, kind of a delayed apologies. I know the angles kind of changed a couple times. My setup was a little bit wacky and I didn't realize until partway through recording. As for people I'm tagging anyone and everyone who wants to do this tag. You can do it in a comment down below in your own video. However you want to do it, just let me know what your answers are. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.